Hey everybody, we're live. Welcome to another edition of Boston Straight Shooters. I'm your host for this evening, Steve, aka Negative Ned. Frank is away on business again, so we'll do our best to hold down the fort while he's away. This is the show we talk about the Patriots, Bruins, Celtics, and Red Sox. Get you guys all caught up to speed on the goings on over the last week or two, since we weren't here last week, due to the Patriots playing the Colts, and we'll get into that shortly. Since we've missed the last 2 weeks, there's a lot to talk about. And let me post the link so you guys can join the show. I am going to start with the Red Sox. We're going to start with the Red Sox because they've been slumping over the last couple of weeks. They have... They kind of got themselves in a bad spot there for a little bit after that incredible 31-5 run they went on, 27-3, 9 in a row. They had a 15-game winning streak. They had a 9-game winning streak. They had won like 9 straight series or whatever it is, and they came crashing back to earth a little bit, which happens to every team. You know, I didn't expect them to continue to just steamroll everybody the way that they were. You know, teams are going to catch up to you. It's really difficult to keep that pace. I mean, even the best teams like the Dodgers, the Yankees, Tampa Bay, you know, all first place teams, they've had their share of slumps. You know, even when the Red Sox swept the Dodgers a few weeks ago, you know, the Dodgers had lost like 6 in a row or whatever. So, you know, and they're everybody knows where they're going to be. They're going to be in the World Series again probably. So it's not a time to panic for them. It might be a little bit of a time to panic for us, seeing as how things have been going. But the last Thursday that we were on, the Red Sox were playing the White Sox, and that game ended up going 13 innings. Unfortunately, I couldn't stay awake for it all. That game went on too late, but the Red Sox fell behind. They trailed 5 different times between the 9th and the 13th innings, and they came back to tie it each of those times, and then won it in the bottom of the 13th, or maybe it was the top of the 13th. Whatever it is, they went on to win 12-11 in 13 innings, and they became the first team ever to score 5 runs in 5 consecutive innings like that after being behind and actually winning the game. So pretty incredible for them to be able to do that. And that was while they were still in their winning streak, I believe. You know, it just goes to show, you know, just the wave that they were riding. There was no quit. There's been no quit in these guys. I think early on in the year, the first couple months, they just looked dead. They didn't look right. But they were not enjoyable to watch at all. They just weren't. They were striking out a ton. They weren't hitting with runners in scoring position. They weren't doing the small things. They were doing the drive line, swing out of your rear end nonsense. So, you know, the turnaround during the whole turnaround, they've been enjoyable to watch. You know, like I said before, the electricity is back in the park, and you know, good for them. I know, I know when they sucked. I told Frank, and I've said on here a number of times that I was actively rooting for them to lose, and it's because they were not likable at that time. They were just miserable, and so I did want them to lose. Now I don't want them to lose. I don't think they're going to win the World Series. I don't think anybody should go cuckoo because people are sports radio talking like, oh, they can get to the ALCS and they can run around and they can. It's like, wait a minute, back the truck up. They still have flaws, and those flaws need to get rectified. And I don't know if they'll have enough weaponry, so to speak, to correct the flaws. They have a bunch of guys injured. Garrett Crochet's still out with some kind of lat injury. You got Trevor Story on his way back. You got Roman Anthony on his way back. You got Garrett Whitlock just went on the DL last week. Yoshida went on the DL last week, or this past week, a couple of days ago, pulled a hamstring. He's out for 6 weeks, which the manager is saying could be till the end of the year, so he might be done. Pitching wise, the pitching is starting to fall apart a little bit. We'll touch on that momentarily, but to kind of give a recap as to where we left off, that Chicago game is where we left off. Then the next night they pounded the A's 13-1. And then they fell apart. They lost the next 2 games to the A's, so they lost that series. That broke the streak. They lost 7-3. Jake Bennett, 5 1/3, 4 runs. He's starting to turn into a little bit of a pumpkin after having probably about 6 or so, 7 like really solid starts. There's starting to be some chinks in his armor. In that game, the hitters struck out 15 times and left 8 guys on base. Not good. Then they lost the next day 4-3. They had a 3-2 lead heading into the 8th. Garrett Whitlock, who's been solid all year, blew the lead, gave up the tying run. And then Chapman, who's also been good, he's been struggling a little bit. He's been a little bit more of a concern than he was last year. He's been putting guys on base more. He's been giving up runs more. He's still having a good year, but he came in and he got the first 2 outs pretty quick. Then he fell behind and he lost it. And again, the hitters left 12 guys on base. Somewhere along the way, I forget what they were with runners in scoring position. I think it was something like 1 for 34 or some horrible number that we saw in the first couple months. So that's back. That's a problem. They just, I feel like they do good for a little bit, then they revert back. Then they revert back to the drive line crap. Then they, drop it and hit again for a little bit. Then they revert back. The guy that's the head honcho for Driveline left the Red Sox because he's working with another team. And, a lot of the turnaround seems to have started when he left. I think that it was going to turn around even if he didn't leave, because I think that they realized that with the way they built the team, we've been talking about this now for 3 years at least. With the way that they built the team, they didn't have home run hitters to use the launch angle, home run or strikeout approach. You don't have big boppers. You don't have 35 home run guys in the lineup to do that. They did change their approach. They went more small ball, more bunts, more sacrificing, more singles and doubles and keep the line moving type of thing. More clutch hits with guys on base in scoring position. And that was all part of that win streak, that 31-6 or whatever. And then they revert back. And then you get, one of those stupid, nerd analytic idiots, put out some kind of, tweet, post, Instagram, whatever the social media thing is they have that he used. And, said, oh, maybe it wasn't Kyle Body all the time. Like, hey, idiot. Stop trying to pat yourself on the back and take credit. You guys suck. If it was up to me, you'd all be fired. I know they want the analytic crap. I know that that's how they want to build the team and look at a spreadsheet and be like, oh, yeah, we project this guy's going to hit 30 homers. But the eyeball test tells you he's only going to hit 8 if you're lucky, or he's going to wind up in Worcester like Christian Campbell. Like, they got to get away from that. And that guy would have been canned. As soon as that tweet came, he would have been gone. I would have been like, you shut your yap. And that goes for anybody else. Shut up. Let us do our thing. Let us win games. Don't be trying to inject yourself and give yourself a pat on the back for nothing. You did nothing. This has nothing to do with you. So shut the hell up and, go play a video game or whatever. Buy a vowel, but take a hike. I'm so sick of that crap. Anyway, after that series that they lost 2 out of 3 of the A's, they had to go to Toronto. And I had said last week that, Toronto's kind of had their number over the last few years. And I forget what the record was this year. I think it was 1-5, maybe. But they had a 4-game series up there. They lost the first game 2-1. Sonny Gray pitched good. He pitched a good game. Pitched 6 innings, gave up both runs. He threw 99 pitches. Solid outing for him. Excuse me. But once again, the hitters left 9 guys on base. The next game, they had a 3-1 lead on home runs by William Abreu and Ceddanne Rafaela, so they have a 3-1 lead. But Patrick Sandoval gave up runs. He pitched 6 innings, gave up 4 runs. Only 2 of them were earned, so there was an error in there along the way. It didn't help him. But they left another 9 guys on base, and they lost 5-3. And then the next game, they lost 6-4, but it wasn't even that close. Ranger Suarez pitched 5 innings, gave up 1 run. He pitched pretty good in that game. But then Tyrone Guerrero came in. He gave up 5 runs. He's been lights out since the end of May, but he gave up 5 runs, and in the 8th, and then the Red Sox scored 3 runs in the top of the 8th, and it wasn't enough. I mean, they weren't gonna win anyways. I don't think that they were gonna be able to get it done, but they had chances. I want to say Dylan Cease was the pitcher. They kind of sort of chased him out. No, that wasn't that game. Sorry, that was a different game. That might have been the Patrick Sandoval game. That might have been the 5-3 game. So if they lose the game 6-4, now you're on a 5-game losing streak. And, of course, the panic has to start. And it's based on what you see. Too many guys left on base, too many strikeouts. They revert back to what I just talked about with the driveline stuff. And they looked a little bit flat. And it shows. Excuse me. The 4th game up there, they avoid the sweep. They won 7-0. Peyton Tolley was lights out in that game. He was a beast. 8 innings pitched, 2 hits, no runs, 7 strikeouts. Really, really good outing for him. Caleb Durbin was 3 for 5 with a home run and 5 RBIs. He's really turned his season around. He's hitting 254 now with 12 homers and 62 RBI. And this is more like what they probably thought they were going to get from Milwaukee when they traded for him. That little stint he pulled back in June where he went to the North Shore, someplace in Malden or wherever it was up there, to get his hitting fixed, worked. And we talked about this when he did it. He basically said, hey, F you guys. I'm getting croaked here. I'm hitting 163. He's not hitting anybody's weight, never mind his. And they fixed him, and he's been fixed ever since. I want to say he's hit somewhere over 300 since he went there. So good for him. He's tied for 4th now in RBIs on the team with Jaron Duran. I think it's Wilson Contreras is 1st, William Abreu is 2nd, and Rafael is 3rd. And then these guys are 4th with 62 each. And so he's had some clutch hits. He's been playing good. And I want to mention, too, that, he dislocated his pinky about I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks ago. Has been playing with it ever since. He dislocated it, went down in the dugout there, popped it back into place, hit a home run that game. He's been playing with it ever since. And in one of these games, somewhere along the line, I forget which one it was, it popped out of his glove, so you could like see it with the bandage or whatever the hell they had on there. And they asked him about it after the game, and I don't know when these came into play, but uh, he was like, "Yeah, it's just a pinky, it's fine." And so they had T-shirts made, and I don't remember exactly what it says now, but I think there's a picture of like his hand or somebody's hand on there with a dislocated pinky, and it says it's just a pinky. So I think that's hilarious. Good for him. He's done a good job. He's been good at third too. I know, over the last couple of weeks he's made a few errors here and there, but overall his defense has been way better than Rafael Devers. He's had a good year overall, I would say so far, given where he started. His defense was not an issue the whole time he was slumping, so that's a credit to him. That just because he wasn't hitting, he wasn't letting the other aspects of his game take a beating. So good for him. Now they move on to Pittsburgh, and they're still on the road now. So they had to go to Toronto, and they had to go to Pittsburgh, and they lost 2 out of 3 of those stiffs. So now you're talking lose 2 out of 3 to the A's, lose 3 out of 4 to Toronto, and then lose 2 out of 3 to Pittsburgh. Not good. That's not a good place to be. Jake Bennett again, the first game, 4 innings pitched, 4 runs, took the loss because the Red Sox scored 4 runs, but I think they were already behind 7-2 after 5 innings. They were getting hammered. Another 10 Ks, another 8 guys left on base. Again, really bad stretch with guys left on base. Next game, Sonny Gray pitched 7 innings, no runs, 7 strikeouts. It was 1-0 in the 8th inning. And Eric Miller, who they got in one of the trades at the deadline, came in, pitched the 8th inning. And then Chapman came in to close the door. But before that, the Red Sox scored 3 runs in the top of the 9th to give them a little cushion. And they won 4-0. So that was a good W for them. And then the next game, Patrick Sandoval goes out there and stinks up the joint. He got pounded for 7 runs in 4 innings. He labored bad. I was watching that game. He just couldn't get out of his own way. He was terrible. The hitters only had 5 hits, 13 strikeouts. Once again, not good. Guys in scoring position, not scoring. And when you're already giving up, 7 runs out of the gate, it's difficult to come back from that. Excuse me. Oh, okay. Listen, they've had some issues. The bullpen's been giving up runs. The starters haven't been going deep in the games now. Mostly Bennett and Sandoval. Peyton Tolley had a start somewhere along the way. We only went, 5 innings, gave up 3 runs. I think that's coming up here in one of these games, right? I think that was yesterday. That was yesterday's game, I think. That was last night's game. He pitched, 5 innings, 3 runs. He's not a pumpkin, but the other guys, right now your rotation is Sonny Gray, Ranger Suarez, Peyton Tolley, Jake Bennett, and Sandoval. The 4th and 5th starters are giving you pretty much nothing now. They have to get at least Bennett back to what he was doing a month ago. But again, it's his first year being in the regular rotation. They talk about protecting these guys and limiting their pitch counts and limiting their innings and this and that. And, gone are the days where a guy could come up and just come in here and throw, 100 pitches and not worry about it. They have everybody timed out. They have rookies like him can only pitch like so many innings this year, and then they'll shut him down for the year. And then when you do that, who are you going to bring in? I mean, I'm not in favor of that. I don't know why they do that. I mean, I understand you're trying to protect the guy's arm to an extent, but he's not really a flamethrower like 99 miles an hour like Garrett Crochet, or even Peyton Tolley. So I don't get what the deal is, why he can't keep going. Nonetheless, this last series at home against the Diamondbacks, starting on Monday, they pounded them 11-1. They had 16 hits. Miraculously, they had no strikeouts in that game. I can't remember the last time I saw a Red Sox game where nobody struck out. No hitters struck out. I have no recollection of that at all, ever. So I'm sure it's not a first, but I can't remember any. So I'm going to have to do a little digging to find out when the last time was that happened. Mickey Gasper hit his first career home run, and Brian Bayo came in. They had a guy open. I forget who it was, came in, pitched an inning and a third. I think he threw 14 pitches, and then he took him out. They put in Bayo, and he pitched 4 1/3 innings, only gave up 1 run. And so he continues. He got the W, and he continues to thrive in that role. It's unfortunate that they can't use him as a starter, because I would flip him and Sandoval. I would put Bayo in the starting rotation and put Sandoval in the pen as the long guy, if they could do it. But I definitely give Bayo credit. I said way back when he struggled to get him out of here, have him go work with Pedro somewhere in Dominican Republic and just get rid of him to get himself fixed. But he went to Worcester. He put the work in, and he's been doing whatever they're telling him to do or whatever, and he's making it work. I think it was good for him to go there because he needed a bit of an ego check. That, if anybody remembers that press conference when he got lit up the last go around before he got sent down to Worcester, he was like, I don't want to hear any bullpen talk. I'm a starter, blah, blah. Yeah, you know what, dude? No, you're not. You're a wreck. That's what you are. So you go down there and get yourself fixed. And I would say so far, so good. Like I said, there was a point where his ERA in that relief role was like 0.71. It's probably over 1 now, slightly. I haven't looked, but he continues to be an important piece there. It would be nice if they could get him into the 5th spot, and it would be nice if they could get Crochet back somehow. I have a bad feeling that he's probably going to be in the bullpen, which that sucks, because if you had Crochet, Sonny Gray, Ranger Suarez, right, and then Peyton Tolley and Bayo, you'd have a pretty good rotation. But we'll see. It's August. I can't believe August is almost over. There's 1 week left. It's ridiculous. And so really there's about 6 weeks left to baseball. And they got to right the ship a little bit. They got to get some W's. The second game, Tuesday, they won 9-4. Ranger Suarez pitched 5 innings. He gave 4 runs. He struggled. He did get the win, but he didn't deserve it. He struggled pretty good. They lost the game 7, 6, and 10 innings, unfortunately. No, sorry, that was 9-4. 9-4 win. 9-4 win. Next game, yesterday's game, they lost 7, 6, and 10 innings. I'm sorry. Peyton Tolley was cruising along until the 5th inning. Gave up 3 runs on the top of the 5th. Excuse me. And then of course Greg Wiesert came in. Uh, you know, the Italian dumpster fire guy uh, comes in, gives up 2 runs. I know why he's here. They don't have arms, but I think he got hurt, and I think he's on the DL now. So, good. Get somebody else. Let me see somebody else. I'm tired of seeing him. He just gives up runs every time he comes in. I'm sick of it. Even though he gave up those 2 runs, they tied it in the bottom of the 5th. Mickey Gasper hit another home run, his second, and it was a 3-run homer. But again, the bullpen let them down. Giovanni Moran gave up 2 runs in the top of the 10th. Couldn't hold it down. And then the Red Sox did get a run back. Wilson Contreras hit a ground ball and didn't run all the way to first. The run scored. He scored the run, but he didn't run all the way down to first. He went like a third or a half of the way, and then took a U-turn into the dugout. That brought on a whole slew of boos. And I want to say last week or the week before, he did the same thing. Didn't run on a ground ball and got booed. And I think this time he took it a little more personal because the fans were really giving it to him. They listen. This is a blue collar town. You can't like half run to first base or half do anything here. You're going to get it. I just go back to Bull Durham when Corbin Burnson was playing third, and he's this like big superstar he's a major league guy. He's a prima donna. He's got his hair all slicked, and he shows up in like a fancy car, and he's got golf clubs, and then he goes out there and he's like Olay with the glove, and he's like not bending over and not hustling and whatnot. And the catcher, Tom Berenger, calls him out and basically says, hey, listen, you do that again, you're going to get your butt whooped. And it's from the movie Major League, if anybody doesn't know, which is from the 80s. I want to say 88 or 89 maybe. And, here you just can't have a guy's half-assing it down the line. And I get it. He's banged up. He got hit in the head a couple weeks ago. Then he didn't run out the ground ball. That could have been part of it because, nobody was sure if he was feeling right or whatever. All right, I can give you a mulligan for that. Then this one, he says, he said that I'm not 100%. We never are. I'm taking care of my leg. If I have to run, I push it a little bit. If I don't, my manager has my back. I talked to him. He gave me permission to do whatever it takes to take care of my legs. I was feeling better until last night when I full stretched my leg and it grabbed me a little bit. My manager knows that. He basically also said that, smart baseball fans know there's no reason to risk an injury running out hard out of the box for an obvious out. So basically calling the fans idiots. Dude. Calling us stupid. Listen, you can't do that, dude. I'm willing to give you a mulligan if you're banged up and, your hamstring is tight and you don't want to run all the way down there. I would just say, you don't got to go full speed, but you should at least run all the way down to the bag. Because if the guy throws the ball away, it's a bad look if you didn't run all the way down there. Anything can happen. I mean, again, going back to the late 80s and early 90s when the Yankees had Chuck Knobloch and he couldn't throw 2 feet. And I could just imagine him sailing one over the first baseman's head while you're half-ass jogging down to first base. And then getting out because you didn't hustle, like dude, you can't do that. Come on. You got to at least make it look like you're doing something. You know, it's like, listen, you can't get on the fans afterwards. Um, you know, that's a bad look for you. Um, Immediately after he arrived back in the dugout, the fuming first baseman engaged with one of the more aggressive fans and had them removed from the park. So this is an ongoing issue now with the Red Sox between him and Jarren Duran, with the fans getting on them and them like flipping the fans off, mostly Duran, and then yelling at the fans and engaging with them like, dude, you know what? Don't do that. You ain't going to win. And you can get them kicked out all you want. But, I get it. You don't want to be booed. I get it. You don't like the people saying you suck and this and that. And, Frank and I have had this discussion before on here. As long as they're not personal attacks, when you make it you can go to a game and be like, oh, you suck. Everybody does that. But if you make it personal and personally attack these guys, then I get why they would come after you, and I get why they would want you to get you thrown out of the game. Your purchase of a ticket does not give you free reign to just haul off anything at the game. And so I do get some of that. But these guys have to realize now the position that they're in, that they're hunting for a playoff spot now. They cannot afford another suspension. He already got suspended once in the brawl with the Nationals. You can't afford another suspension for him. So these guys have to start keeping those kind of things in mind. Like, look, they're going to say what they're going to say. Again, within reason. No personal attacks. That's just a no-no. For fans, don't personally attack the players. You can voice your frustration and your opinion, boom, and whatever. But for the players themselves, like Duran, stop flipping the fans off, guy. Ignore them. Everybody knows you have a mental issue, and you've brought it to the forefront, and it's rightfully so that it should be a consideration for people to not personally attack you. Again, if I'm in the stands and I see you swinging at a ball in the dirt, I can yell, hey, bring your 9-9 next time. That's not really a personal attack. That just means you're swinging at garbage. And if those kind of things upset you, then you can't play. If a stupid comment like that bothers you, then you're on the wrong field. You need a new job. But if people are like one of the times, and I forget where it was now because it was earlier, but somebody yelled out to him, "Oh, go kill yourself!" Like, that's a complete not acceptable at all. That's a no-no. And those when I say personal attack, that's what I mean. You don't say that to any of them, whether they have a mental issue like Duran or not. That's just not right at all on any level. And they should be not only kicked out of the game, they should be banned for life if they're doing something like that. I would just say to those guys, look, bring it up to your manager, bring it up to security, do something, but don't engage with the fans. Just be like, hey, I think that guy over there said something, blah, blah, and point him out and get him tossed out of the game. But stop yelling at the fans in this town. You will not win. It's a bad look. And we need you for the stretch run. So don't get suspended doing something stupid. Quick update again on the injured guys coming back. We have Roman Anthony's in Portland. He's playing left field tonight. He played 2 nights ago. Got on base 4 times, hit a home run his first time up. So hopefully he'll be back in the next week or two. Trevor Story's rehabbing in Worcester. I think today he went 2 for 4 or some nonsense. Nobody wants him back. I don't want him back. I already said they should shelve him for the whole year and just tell him to stay on the 60-day DL. We'll see you next year in spring training. Multiple sports radio people, same thing. They don't want him back. Why you want to disrupt the chemistry? And they're all saying, Monasterio is not, a Gold Glove shortstop. He's not horrible, and he's okay. And it's kind of a slap at guys like him that have helped with the turnaround to just take him out of the lineup and put Story in there. I'm not in favor of that. I mean, I'm hoping that maybe they can move him to second base so they don't lose his bat in the lineup, because I think he's hitting 276. He's had some clutch hits, some doubles. He brings energy. Again, he's adequate defensively. He's better. He's better than some of the other crap Ocean State job lot bums we've had the last couple of years. David Hamilton in particular, who I've been on. I mean, I'm glad I don't have to see him out there anymore. I can live with Monasterio. I can live with Siegel at second base. I can live with Nick Sogard at second base. They're not, they might be like C+ players, but they're better than the D we were getting from the other guys. I mean, they're a slight upgrade over those guys, and they're bringing energy, and they've been fun to watch. So I don't want Trevor Story back. I fear that he's going to slump. They're going to put him in the number 2 spot. He's going to slump. He's not going to hit. He's going to strike out 3 times a game. And, he's going to disrupt the chemistry they have. That's going to be a problem. But we'll see. I think I've rambled on long enough about the Red Sox. I think we need to move on now to the Patriots. Patriots last Thursday night had their first preseason game against the Colts. It ended in a 13-13 tie. I'm not happy about that. I know the outcome isn't really pertinent to, what the team is going to look like overall, but they had a chance to win the game with a few seconds left, and the kicker missed the field goal, and we'll get to him later. But that's very frustrating for me that he couldn't make that kick. Anyway, I want to talk about what they did during the game with the Colts. I think that overall the offense was okay. I think DeVito is better than Josh Dobbs that they had last year for a backup. I think he had moments where he was erratic. He had some throws that were low. He had some throws off his back foot. But he did make a lot of nice plays. I think he made good plays overall. He ran the offense efficiently. I thought it was pretty good for a first time. They had some penalties that took away big plays. His stat line, I'll get to it later. Overall it doesn't look great, but you put those plays back in there, he probably would have threw for 200 yards. Or close to it. So, I'm curious to see what it's going to look like this Saturday against the Eagles. But I thought overall, the offense looked pretty good. Defensively, they had a hard time stopping the run. In particular, the quarterback, Anthony Richardson. They did make some plays. I mean, they had 4 turnovers on defense. They stopped Richardson on a run. They made him fumble. That was big. They got interceptions at key times. That was big too. So look, I think the defense had its moments. Because you're judging the secondary guys, it's really difficult. They're not going to look like what they look like in the regular season. But I think overall, it wasn't horrible. It wasn't bad. Excuse me. Jim Miller, I think he's a rookie, or he was a rookie last year. He had some nice runs. He ran for 11 yards on a first down on the first drive. Listen, they made some plays. They had a lot of good runs. On that first drive, they went up 3-0. The kicker made a 43-yard field goal. That's pretty decent. Their second drive, they kind of stalled out. They ran for 2 yards, got stopped. Then DeVito threw a pass high to Mac Hollins, almost got him killed. And then on third down, he stepped up in the pocket, but he made a bad throw, and they had to punt. On the third drive, DeVito rolled out and completed a pass to tight end. I think his name's Eli Reardon, the rookie tight end they drafted this year. Nice play. I want to say it was like 20 something yards. It got called back because rookie right tackle Caleb Loma was ineligible downfield. That negated a huge play. So then it's 2nd and 15, and DeVito makes a screen pass to whoever the hell number 34 is. I forget his name now. It got called back for an illegal block in the back. So 2 plays in a row, they had big plays, and it got called back. That was frustrating to me. I can't even imagine what I was doing to Vrabel. I imagine in the meeting the next day, that clicker was working overtime on those 2 plays. But then Danny DeVito. All right, I'm going to apologize now because I can guarantee you if he plays again, whether it's next week or any other point in the season, I'm probably going to call him Danny DeVito instead of Tommy. So let me get it out of the way now and apologize because I know it's not Danny DeVito. He wouldn't be able to see over the lineman's backside to get the ball out if he was quarterbacking. But Tommy DeVito made a nice play for 25 yards, hit Mac Hollins. It was a good play. Then they kind of stalled. The offensive line gave up pressure, and he got sacked. And then on 3rd and 9, he made a pass to the tight end. They went for it on 4th down. They got it. It was 4th down at the Colts 41. They went for it and got it. That was a good play. Number 34, his name's Larison, his last name. But there was a play that got blown up in the backfield. They lost 5 yards. Then they made a pass to him on a screen for 8 yards, and they got an 8-yard gain on that one. And then there was another incompletion, and they attempted a 56-yard field goal, and it was wide left. And so they couldn't put points on the board there. That was 1 of 3 misses for Andre Borregales. So they end the first quarter up 3-0. The Colts. Let's see. Richardson ran through a big hole at the Pats 35 for a 22-yard gain. Then they kept running it, and they got the ball at the Patriots 1-yard line, and I forget who was running it, but the guy fumbled and it was recovered by the Patriots. So that was a huge turnover there. The next drive from their own end kind of stalled. Not much going on there. On the Colts' next drive on 1st and 10, they were stopped by KJ Britt for a 2-yard loss. 2nd and 12, Richardson fumbled, caused by Britt. He had a pretty good game, made a big stop for a loss, caused a fumble. The next drive, this was probably one of the best drives of the night right here. They had a run for 6 yards. And then they had a pass to Larison for a 1st down. And then actually it had a pass for 1st down, but it got called back on pass interference by Kyle Williams. So on 4th down from their own 27, they go for it. They run for a 1st down. Don't ask me how the hell they did that. So DeVito escaped pressure. He threw a long bomb caught by whoever the hell number 88 is. And I apologize, I don't have the names because they're all like these rookie guys or whatever they are. It got called back again, ineligible man downfield on the center, Jared Wilson. So listen, there's 3 big plays called back. Like I said, he could have easily had over 200 yards. And it's very frustrating and disappointing that happened. Also, DeVito was hitting the head on the play. There was no flag. So Even the guys up in the booth were like, yeah, it should have been a penalty. So nothing went right on that play. So it's 1st and 15 from their own 25. Throws a slant to number 88 for an 18-yard gain. Another play, pass to Larison for 8 yards. 3rd and 4, pass to Chisholm for a first down for 15 yards. They got 1st and 10 from the Colts 31. Jam Miller ran it for 12 yards. First down, good blocking on the last 2 plays. I made a note there. There was good blocking on those plays by the offensive line. DeVito incomplete. Miller run for 4 yards, 2nd and 6. DeVito threw to the end zone for Kyle Williams, got a touchdown. So 12 plays, 82 yards, 6 minutes and 23 seconds chewed off the clock. That was probably their best drive of the night. That was a good drive. The long bomb called back notwithstanding. And so, look, the offense looks decent so far. I mean, the penalties and whatnot, again, it's young guys. They got to learn. It's a second unit, second stringers, except for Jared Wilson. I mean, I was surprised to see him in there. But I think that's because Ben Brown got hurt. The backup center got hurt, and he went in, which is his natural position. So, listen, good drive. So they go up 10-0. And then on the ensuing drive, they give it right back. They had pass for first down. There was a pass that was tipped by a Patriots player. It was a completion for a first down. 1st and 10 at the Patriots 17. So they march all the way down the field real quick from their own 31 to the Patriots 17 in like 4 plays. Richardson run to the right 7 yards. Screen pass on a blitz to the running back. Runs short of the goal line. It's 1st and goal. Half a yard away, Richardson sneaks it in. So that particular drive, the defense wasn't good. They had that one play where they tipped it and couldn't knock it away. Defense looked pretty beat there. So now it's 10-7. The next couple drives, again, pass to Kyle Williams for 25 yards. He had 2 catches, including a touchdown. But then you got 1st and 10, passing complete for Williams. 2nd and 10, passing complete, bad throw. This is why I was saying he was a little erratic. Another pass, it was short, incomplete. So 2 passes in a row, bad by DeVito, not good. And then the Colts, from their own 8-yard line, drove all the way down with 4 seconds left to try to make a 61-yard field goal attempt. So again, the Patriots gave up some plays. They got the ball to midfield and just a little bit past it. Tried a 61-yard, didn't work. Let's see. The Colts got the ball back, and the Patriots got a turnover there. It was intercepted. I made a note here. The pass was lofted due to pressure, so they were able to get some pressure on the quarterback and force him into a bad throw, and it got picked off. One of the turnovers I mentioned before. I forget where they started, but Miller ran for 8 yards. Actually, he ran for 12 yards, and he got stopped on 3rd and 2, and they did a field goal attempt, and they had to burn a timeout because there was only 10 guys on the field. The Patriots did. Vrabel was losing his crap. Rightfully so. Those are the kind of things that you can't have early in the second half, burn a timeout because your special teams don't know what number of guys you're supposed to have on there. Those are the kind of mistakes that will lose you games in the regular season. So get them out of the way now. Get it cleaned up. But then he makes the field goal. They go up 13-7. Then on the Colts' next drive, the Patriots sacked them on 3rd and 4. and forced them to punt. So again, the defense making some plays, doing some stuff. Patriots' next drive. Now at this point, they've put in the third string guy, and I don't have his name in front of me right now. Rookie they drafted in like the 6th or 7th round, whoever he is. They get the ball down to try a field goal on 4th and 5, and it was wide left, and it was an awful. I made a note, an awful knuckleball looking kick. I mean, it looked like the thing just like knuckled to the left, and just nothing behind it. Looked weird. Just didn't look right coming off his foot, and it just had no shot. I don't know where the hell that thing was going into freaking left field. It was awful. So the Colts driving, they get a pass, they get a penalty at the snap of the ball for an illegal formation. On 4th and 2, they go for it, and the pass is tipped by Brady Swinson. Good job defense, I wrote there. They gave up a big play in the middle of that, but they made a good play on defense to stop them there, and then not much going on for the offense. It's really nothing going on until the Colts get the ball back a few drives later. Now Richardson's gone by this point, I think. So they run it for 3 yards. They get a pass complete to the Patriots 42. They get to the Pats 48. The snap was low, was picked up for a 1-yard run, 2nd and 9 incomplete, 3rd and 9 incomplete. So they force them into a field goal, but they make the kick 46 yards away. It's 13-10. Next drive, run for 1 yard loss, 3rd and 10, pass complete for 4 yards, 4th and 6, they punt. And the punter, actually, Bryce Barringer had a good game. 57-yard punt. I think he averaged over 50 yards a kick on his punts. Next drive, QB runs for 12 yards, passing complete due to Casey Rogers, number 65. But then they get illegal hands to the face on the Patriots. They get a first down, and that takes it down to the 2-minute warning. 2nd and 10 from the Pats 45. They make a couple completions, and then they kick a field goal with 1:16 left and tie it. And then the Patriots from their own 26 get all the way down to the Colts 34, sorry. And 49-yard field goal, missed wide left. And then the Colts got the ball back, and they tried to do something. Couldn't do it. The game ended in a tie. Borregales was 2 of 5. Last year, I was calling for his head like everybody else. This time, I think I'll cut him half some slack because the field turf was just put in like a few days prior. I have a funny feeling the turf messed with him. There's a kind of a long story behind that turf issue. I'm not going to get into it right now because when I'm watching the clock and we're going to run out of time. But I do want to touch on real quick the joint practice that the Patriots had with the Eagles over the last couple days. Just some notes from listening to sports radio and so forth. Yesterday, the Pats got the better of the Eagles. Today was more even. The offense is looking pretty good. Drake May today was 10 of 18 for 4 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. A.J. Brown caught 5 TDs. The offensive line has been pretty good. I guess Elijah Vera Tucker, the left guard they signed, has had some issues. And again, mentioned earlier, so is Caleb Lomu, the number 1 pick from this year at right tackle. But Will Campbell, right guard Michael Onwenu, and the center Jared Wilson moving back to his natural center position have all been solid. They've had strong camps. The reporters covering the team have been saying that the O-lines were much better than expected. So they're looking at the O-line as possibly being a strength of the team. That would be incredible considering where they were last year. The defense has had struggles. The pass rush continues to be an issue. They're not getting pressure. There's no real edge rushes that are sticking out. Harold Landry is still out. Carlton Davis is still out. Christian Gonzalez has got hurt in one of the practices before the Colts game. He hasn't practiced since. I guess yesterday he was seen after or maybe it was today after the practice, shaking hands with the Eagles guys, and had a little bit of a limp. So, no really knows what the injury is or what's going on with that. He's also looking for a new contract extension since Seattle cornerback Devon Witherspoon signed his 4-year, $132 million deal the other day with $101 million guaranteed. That basically set the market now, and Gonzalez wants to be the highest paid. He doesn't want to be make $34 million and then have another guy jump over him next year. He's looking to exceed that. That's going to be a problem. I think he has to live with the fact that if they offer him 34 and give him 34 a year, next year someone's going to get 35, and then the year after that someone's going to get 36, and you're not going to be the highest paid corner. And you know what? You don't deserve to be the highest paid corner because you're not the best corner. He's in the top 5. He's a shutdown corner, but he's not the best. He's not, Ty Law or Darrell Revis or whoever back there. So no, I hope they get it fixed. One more note before we move on real quick. Eagles Pro Bowl cornerback Quinion Mitchell said that A.J. Brown looked faster than last year. And, my note is, hey, look, and everybody knows this, he has a lot to prove, especially against your former team. He's going to be motivated. So I'm sure he was motivated to show up in this practice today and yesterday. And he's had a good camp. Him and Drake May are starting to connect. Early on in camp, people were panicking. Oh my God, they're not on the same page. Oh, this is going to be terrible. What? Now a week later, it's like, oh, they look good. It's like, okay, give them some time. You can't judge anything on a bunch of walkthroughs and no game and no practice. Panic City around here, like we always do. Anyway, we're definitely going to have more Patriots stuff. There's more training camp. They have a game Saturday against the Eagles. We'll see how that goes. Let's move on quickly to some Celtics news. They released their schedule, well, at least part of their schedule, and they're playing the 76ers and Jaylen Brown. Now, they have 2 exhibition games in October, one here on October 10th at the Garden, and then one in Philly. And then the regular season games, they have November 10th at Philly, January 21st here in Boston, February 7th at Philly, and March 7th at the Garden. And so those games, I would imagine that Jaylen Brown will get cheered. I can't imagine why anybody would boo him. It's not his fault he got traded. So if they boo him, then that's idiotic. But I'm looking forward to seeing how those games go. Maybe the exhibition season you don't get to see a lot because the starters are not going to be playing, 30 minutes a game in those games. But I'm curious to see what the reaction is going to be his first game back, in the regular season in January when they get here. So hopefully he'll be healthy, and we'll get to see it. All right, let's move on to I meant to do this. Whoops. I meant to do that. I apologize. We'll get rid of that. Let's go to, all right, so there were no poll questions this week. Yours truly kind of fell asleep at the wheel. I apologize for that. We'll fix it this week. Let's move on to the weekly predictions. Last week's predictions, 2 weeks ago, I said that they would go 4-3 because I was not sold on them going to Toronto and getting another sweep. I would just say wrong because they didn't go 4-3. That week, I think they went 2-5 or something like that. So bad week for them that week. I said Keyshawn Boutte would get traded. Wrong. He did not get traded yet. I still think he might. To be determined. I said that there will be another injury for the Red Sox. Ding, ding, ding. We have Garrett Whitlock went on the DL with right elbow inflammation. They're saying there's no structural damage, but anytime the guys have an elbow issue, I will hit the panic button when they have that. And like I said earlier, Masataka Yoshida left with a hamstring. He's out approximately 6 weeks. So too bad because he was starting to hit pretty good. I think he's been in 300 for like the last month too. He's not a power guy, but he can get on base and he can drive in some runs. And that's kind of a big deal to lose him. All right. Predictions for this week. I think the Patriots will sign Gonzalez after Saturday's game, somewhere between like early in the week. It'll be like a few days before their next preseason game, which I think is Thursday or Friday next week. I think it's Friday next week, right? So somewhere early in the week, they got to get it. They got to get him signed and get him on the practice field. And even if he doesn't practice in the stupid game, they got to give him 2 weeks before they get to the real game on the 9th of September. They got to get him back out there practicing. So I think they get it done this week. They I've heard all kinds of stuff about, some guys signed 4 days before the start of the season. Like, we don't want that. He's got to be out there practicing. He's got to be ready. Any kind of hiccups, anytime there's a delay when the guys hold out or they don't sign, injuries happen. They make it worse. They're behind the 8 ball. Their timing is off. Like, the whole thing just sucks. I think like everybody else, I get antsy. We want it done. So I think they get it done. Next one, I saw an interesting article right before I jumped on here that a trade partner for Kayshon Boutte would be the Houston Texans because one of their wide receivers just tore his ACL. He's out for the year. You have Nick Caserio, who's the GM down there in Houston, former Patriot front office guy. I could see him getting traded to Houston now that they have a need. And actually, I'll say Houston because I saw the article, but anybody else that has a guy that tore his ACL or any other injuries, he's going to get traded to wherever there's a need. Because this is the time now when guys start getting hurt and, you want to replenish what you lost. I say the Patriots will beat Philly Saturday in the game. I think that they'll get some things cleaned up this week. It should be better. I think the joint practice has helped them. And not that there's any secrets going on because everybody doesn't show the whole playbook, what they're doing, but I have a feeling it should be better. And my last one is the Red Sox will take 2 of 3 from both the Giants, who are here this weekend, and the Miami Marlins, who the Red Sox have to go to Miami, I think, the following week. So they got the Giants here. Rafael Devers is coming back to Fenway. I'm curious to see if he gets booed or cheered. I'm going to throw in prediction. I'll add one more prediction for Rafael Devers gets booed. He gets booed when he comes back because he wouldn't play first base. Forced his way out. I'm curious to see what happens there. Anyway, we're out of time. That's it for the show. I want to thank you all for tuning in. Thank you for the support. Thanks for all the commentary, voting in the polls. Be sure to catch us on YouTube, and we'll see you next week.